are at the rededication of a National Alliance historic water trough fountain. This fountain originally sat almost exactly in the same place over 100 years ago. And thanks to the community of Hot Springs and partners involved all through the area, we're bringing it back home after 107 years. It's a historic fountain, and a lot of people help make it happen. We're about to have a dedication, and we are going to have an unveiling, and the fountain is in excellent shape. It had a circuitous route coming home thanks to the Reed family. Greg Reed is here to say a few words. And we're standing in Regions Plaza, which is a brand new city plaza named after Regions Bank right here behind me. Regions contributed over 50% of the cost of the development of this plaza, and that was a qualifying criteria for naming rights. So this plaza is named Regions Plaza. The fountain will be unveiled in about 30 minutes. Hopefully you'll stick around to see it happen. Thank you very much.
At what is a very exciting moment. We're going to be dedicating what used to be a horse trough but is now a fountain that used to reside in downtown Hot Springs, and it's back. It's been donated to the Parks and Trails and the city. And what do you think, Max?
Oh, I love it. I love to bring back this historical aspects of our city, and the fact that it's sitting close to where it once was. I think it's fantastic. So it's such we live in a historical town. Let's bring back some of the history and make it real, and bring it back to the folks to take a look at. I think it's a great idea.
Well, it kind of disappeared and it came back.
Yeah, well, that's my job. That's what I do. I disappear things and make them come back.
It's true. You are a great magician.
Thank you. Well, it's great to be here today. I want a beautiful day to bring it back.
All right. There you go.
And I'm the Parks and Trails Director for the City of Hot Springs. And it gives me great joy to welcome everybody today to Regions Plaza. And thank you all for coming out on this beautiful spring day to help celebrate and rededicate a piece of Hot Springs history that was once lost, but now it's found. As you can see by gazing around this beautiful new city plaza, there is much to look at and much history to absorb. In 1897, Herman Lee Ensign, a wealthy advertising executive with a great love for animals, incorporated the National Humane Alliance. He published a series of illustrated stories focusing on educating people to be gentle and considerate of animals and of each other. To memorialize his passing in 1899, the Alliance placed an estimated 125 fountains on city streets across America. Hot Springs was the fortunate recipient of one of these fountains in 1909. The fountain is solid granite and has two sets of drinking bowls, a large bowl on top for horses and smaller bowls at the bottom for dogs and cats. Bronze lions' heads, spouts deliver the water to the bowls. With the advent of the automobile, the horse trough fountain became obsolete for its intended use and was removed from its location, which was very, very near to where we stand today. In 1970, it was acquired by the Reed family, and in 2014, Greg Reed, a descendant of Thomas E. and Ida Lee Reed, contacted former city manager David Watkins about the city's interest in the fountain being regifted to the city. Mr. Watkins was immediately interested and became involved with finding the fountain a new home. So here we are today, and as the saying goes, the rest is history. Our first speaker today is someone I know you're waiting to meet. So please help me welcome our new city manager, David Frazier.
you, Gene. And welcome all Hot Springers and guests from far and wide. It's great to be here with you today, this afternoon. And while I did not know your former city manager, David Watkins, I have learned that he had a passion for downtown redevelopment and development projects, including a special focus on this particular spot upon which we stand today. He predicted that the former Austin Hotel would be transformed into an upscale, modern facility, and as we can see, it has been. He also predicted that the new Regions Bank would become a highlight of pride in the community, and as we can see, it has. So when Gene Wallace approached Mr. Watkins with a proposal to reclaim the fountain and develop a charming new plaza on this site, he is quoted as saying, "Let's do it." So today, how fitting it is to bring that dream to reality by dedicating this fountain in celebration of the city's history. You know, this morning I was touring the Oak Lawn with Mr. Burrows and other people from the track, and they were such gracious hosts that as I was walking among the facilities at the track, I was taken with the history that Hot Springs has with a horse. And it's a history that probably started way before this fountain was constructed the first time, and certainly it continues today. You know, they used to haul us around, and now they entertain us at the track. But it's a connection that goes way back over many, many years. So I think the fountain has a special significance as a symbol of the relationship between the humble beast that we call the horse and today's and tomorrow's entertainment out at the track. This plaza represents vision, planning, hard work, and tangible benefits that are possible through genuine partnerships and collaboration. And without those partnerships, this fountain wouldn't be back in our hands today to help enrich the downtown environment. So let's celebrate today and build on the momentum to ensure the renaissance of Hot Springs. I want to thank the elected officials that are here today as well. Without their support, these sorts of projects simply wouldn't be possible. I'd like to ask the mayor and board of directors for the city to stand and be recognized. And I'd also like those of you that work for county and state government, if you're here, if you could raise your hands and be recognized as well. I know Judge Davis is here for sure. And with that, I'll pass the torch to the next speaker. Thank you again, and I can't wait to see what it really looks like.
Thank you, David. And now I'm going to attempt to pass the microphone to our city director, Elaine Jones, who's standing behind me. She wants to speak from behind. Test.
Good afternoon. The mayor said you can't see me with me standing here. Mayor, I'm 6'1". Oh, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here today to welcome you to this beautiful Regions Plaza. To Mr. Trice, is it Trice? Did I get it right? Okay. And to Mr. Greg, of the first name. And to everyone that's here representing somebody. You're here because you had a part in this. We all took part in it, not just the Parks and Trail Director. You did a wonderful job, Gene. And I applaud you for doing such a great job. She really took over and went to work on it. And most of you don't know, but I will let you know that you're standing in District Number 2. I love District Number 2. We have so much to offer. And when you're done, kind of go around and look in the bag. No, they don't have a room for slots. Somebody wanted to know if they had a slot room in there when they built it, and they don't. Thank you very much for coming. I just wanted to welcome you to District 2 and to Regions Plaza. Thank you, Gene.
And now our next speaker is really kind of the person who started it all, or at least passed the torch. Greg Reed. Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Greg Reed.
Thank you, Gene. It's really a privilege to be here today and present this fountain back to the city of Hot Springs. It's been in our family for about 40 years. When we got it, we had no idea where it came from. We just knew it was a big old, heavy piece of granite. If you knew about my grandfather, he was one of the few people in town that people would call and say, Tommy, we're getting ready to throw this away, or getting ready to tear this building down. Do you want some doors? And he would go over and get these doors. And my cousin Derek, my brother Donnie, and me would haul those doors from one place of his property to the other, probably 6 or 7 times before I was ever 12 years old. These doors eventually went up in his house. Well, thank goodness he didn't ask us to move this fountain because it only weighs about 4,000 pounds. But if you know anything about my family, history has always been really important to us. And to see the city reclaim a piece like this that we didn't even know belonged to the city the way it did is really, really quite impressive. If you think about the history of the city and the incredible places that used to be here, thank goodness some still are, it would be great to see the city try to retain as much of that as possible. Just for example, how many of you guys, raise your hand, remember where the old Budweiser warehouse was? Where was it? I'm there by the Silver Record. As a kid, I went through there and was amazed at the ironwork in that building. Does anybody remember what the Como Hotel was? Or was it? You know what Como stood for? Central, Washita, Margaret, and Orange. Exactly. Olive. That's right. So it was right over here, but it was torn down. It's actually buried in my family's property up there on Marvin Street, Marvin Avenue. And as being part of the Math and Science School for a while, one thing we talked about was a performing arts center. Well, we used to have this. Remember what it was called? The Opera House. So where the parking lot is now, next to Rolano's down there. I think it would have been nice to have retained that Gilded Age iron front opera house and have a place for our kids and artisans to perform in a very historic place. So my encouragement to the city is to keep embracing and recognizing sites like this. And while everything can or probably shouldn't be retained, find a way to retain a piece of it as an echo of its piece in history. So that when our kids grow up, they'll look at it and tell them the story, and read educational plaques like this, and retain the history of this great, great city. Again, we're very proud to present this back to the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Greg. And our last speaker, before I come back up and do a little bit of a closing talk, is Lynn Wright. Lynn Wright is the area president for Regions Bank, and he's here to say a few words about their partnership with us in this development of this plaza. Lynn?
Thank you, Gene. We are super excited for this day to finally be here for a whole list of reasons. This project has been years in the making, from struggling with what to do about our facilities needs downtown for the next generation, all the way to coming up with this idea. And I would not be doing my job if I did not give credit from the region side to our recently retired city president, Elizabeth Ferris, who's over here in the audience. Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth came to us during the process of designing this building and said the city and Gene Wallace have come to us with a really interesting idea. They would like to put a fountain in the plaza, name it Regents Plaza, kind of as an honor to our commitment to downtown. And in any big company, we have to get approvals from our corporate partners. So we pitched the idea to them, and they could not have been more excited to get involved in this project. And so we are so excited about the partnership between the bank between the city of Hot Springs, all the work that Gene Wallace has done, the Reed family for donating the fountain. Our commitment to Hot Springs goes back over 100 years, and we want it to go for the next 100 years. And the investment in this facility was our statement to downtown Hot Springs that we are here and we are here to stay. And this is an important market for us, and we just could not be more pleased with the partnership that we forged during this process. David Trice has been involved in the latter part of the details. He's our new city president of Hot Springs over at David. He had me get up here because he said it wouldn't be fair for me to talk about all the labor and toil I've expended on this project when I just came in when it was finished. So he asked me to do that instead. So from Regions Bank, I just pass on our thanks to the city. I talked to some of my partners in the real estate area today who could not have been more complimentary of how great the city was to work with, how great Gene Wallace was to work with. So it's really been a pleasure for us to be part of this, and we could not be more happy to be in the middle of the redevelopment of downtown Hot Springs. It's a great city. It's going to be a great city for the next generations, and this investment helps make that come true. With that, I will turn it back to Gene Wallace after I give one unabashed pitch for our grand opening is actually this afternoon. So feel free to hang around after these ceremonies. There'll be a ribbon cutting at 3:45 and then food and drinks from 4 to 6. So we'd love everybody to see our facility, celebrate the Regents Plaza with us, and I've been told you cannot drink from the fountain only. So with that, thank you very much. I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Glenn. And it's true. Unless you are equine, canine, or feline, you should not drink from that fountain. Okay. Well, we've heard from our speakers today about the incredible and the circuitous route that this remarkable fountain took coming back to its hometown roots. This whole project was a labor of love, and it indeed took a community to make it happen. The stars lined up on this one, folks. Starting with Mr. Watkins' vision to bring it back home after Greg Reed mentioned it to him. Then Regions Bank's new building project and a survey that identified that the property out their front door was public property. The Garland County Historical Society's research that identified the original location of the fountain. The realization that it could return to the location that it once had 100 years ago, if and only if this public property could be redeveloped into a new city plaza, and if there were funds to do that. Then enter Prince McDougal and Chris Lucas with Regions, and a chance meeting in the city's Planning and Development Department, and discussion began about cost-sharing the plaza construction as qualifying criteria for naming rights. So here we are in Regions Plaza, about to unveil our long-lost National Humane Alliance fountain. So many others caught the excitement and contributed time, labor, equipment, and materials to make it happen. White Gators engineering firm from Little Rock and landscape architect Sally Horsey developed the design. It just struck me today that her last name is Horsey. Sorry, Sally, I wasn't going to say that, but I did. Anyway, they developed the design. Kevin Coakley Construction, helped us with the water line. Ron Gerald, plumber extraordinaire, figured out how to make the complicated yet extremely simple interior plumbing come to life. Bree and David Harris with Light and Time Design Studio for exceptional craftsmanship to recreate the lion's heads and the plaque. Liz Robbins and Mike Blythe for historical research and enthusiasm. Elizabeth Ferris and David Trice with Regions Bank for encouragement. The Parks and Trails Advisory Committee, the Arts Advisory Committee, and the multitude of city departments that pitched in, who all are here, by the way, representatives from all the departments, utilities, streets, public works, engineering, planning and development, our neighbors, the Advertising and Promotion Commission of Visit Hot Springs across the street, who loaned us our stage when we realized that we were going to be at the same level as our audience, and we really wanted to stand above so you could see and hear us. And everybody pitched in when they were needed. And last but not least, thanks to the employees of the Parks and Trails Department, who did groan at the mention of another special project. to add into the daunting workload, but just Brandon said, "You want it by when?" So Brian Fisher, landscape superintendent. Hey Brian, where are your guys and your dad? Heavy equipment punctuation. Larry Golden, park superintendent and coordination king, and his crew. Wave y'all. Administration staff, Kathleen Faison and Jennifer Shin, who both each designed one of the amazing historical signs that are in this plaza. Before we unveil the fountain, there's one more person to recognize in the audience. Kay Watkins. Kay, we are so glad you're here. So everyone, thank you for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon and the Regions Bank grand opening immediately following. Be sure and pick up one of the bookmark souvenirs to remember the day. After all, it's just another day in history. Now, if Mayor Carney will make her way to the fountain with Brian Fisher, and if Liz Robbins, Mike White, Ron Gerald, and Sally Horsey, and Cole McCaskill will join them, we will unveil this marvelous sculpture.
This is easy. Hey, howdy, Mike. How are you?
Okay, so please join me in counting backwards to 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unveil. Is there a magician in the audience?
I can make it happen.
So wait a minute. We have the bottom closed, and you know, the only thing missing is a horse. Perhaps there is one waiting in the wings. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce Kenny Thornton's granddaughter, Aspen Thornton, and her award-winning barrel racing horse, Cowboy. Aspen will now lead Cowboy to water. Let's see if he will drink.
Today with David Trice, who's the president of Regions.
Correct, for Hot Springs.
For Hot Springs. And we're visiting the new plaza that just got put in that Regions was so gracious to help with. And in your words, how has this project been?
I just think it's been the definition of partnership. It's really been nice. I'm fairly new to this market, and so whenever I came from Little Rock to Hot Springs, they had pretty much had the building complete, but I really got here just to see the fun part, which is all the concrete and landscaping that's been done, and then all the infrastructure for the fountain. So I've had the opportunity to meet and visit with Jean and her group for several months now and learn a little more about the history of the fountain, and it's been really exciting to be involved with, and we feel very fortunate.
Well, it is exciting to inherit a fabulous fountain and put it in your plaza.
That's right.
And I bet did you enjoy working with Jean Wallace? I think she's such a wonderful person.
Absolutely. She was one of the first people that I was able to meet when I moved here to Hot Springs, and have enjoyed the relationship since.
Well, she's just, I don't know if you know, but we have 17 parks in Hot Springs, and Jean is in charge of all those and does an amazing job outside of fountains.
I know she stays very busy and has a lot of dynamic ideas that she's shared with me.
And she gets them done.
That's right, very impressive.
Clearly, because we're standing in this plaza with a horse and a fountain.
Right.
Well, it's really nice. Welcome to Hot Springs.
Thank you very much. We really enjoyed the community so far.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you.
All right, thank you.
The donor of the fountain that used to be a horse trough, and it belonged to your grandfather? What was the story?
Well, my grandfather got a call that it was getting ready to be thrown away for the second time. So it was about 40 years ago. He went and picked it up. My cousin went over there with a backhoe and lifted it and set it up behind his home on Malvern Avenue in Hot Springs. It sat there for about 40 years.
I remember it. I saw it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was in the backyard. It's pretty prominent.
Yep.
My grandmother sold the home. They were getting ready to tear the house down. And my partner Paul said, we ought to take that fountain. Didn't know anything about it. I think it was just a big granite fountain.
Right.
Pretty.
Right.
Didn't have a lion's heads on it. The plaque was gone. Just a piece of granite.
Right.
So we hauled it to Little Rock. And was going to set it up in a home over there. Never did it. Hauled it back to our lake home here in Hot Springs.
How? It's so heavy.
It was quite
a project.
In fact, I think on the way back, we broke the guy's hydraulics lifting the back off the trailer. And on the way back, we had a blowout of 4 tires on the trailer. So
I believe that.
And then I called David Watkins and said, after I learned more of what it was,
right.
I said, David, this may be something the city wants back, but if you don't want it back, I don't want to give it to you just to throw away again.
Right, right.
So David took it, and this is the result. And I think Jean has done a great job putting it together, her team. It's in a great location.
Yeah.
And thousands of people every day are going to walk by this plaza and be able to see the fountain and recognize the historical significance of this piece for the city of Hot Springs and its people.
I just love that it was returned to almost the original spot after dragging it around for years. Yes. I'm so glad you guys saved it.
Well, it's good we could too, and sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Sometimes things really can't be saved, but when they can, and you can return them in their public manner for the appropriate use, I think that's a very good thing for a family or anyone to do.
Well, it was really nice of you to do so.
I think it's been a pleasure to be a custodian of it for a few years.
Right. Well, thanks.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Hi, everybody.